Hey, my people, today I want to talk about wealth creation. And if you are working a 9 to 5, the same way how I am working a 9 to 5, how do you move from that to creating wealth? Now, the first thing is, if you are the only source of income working with your two hands, you will never be wealthy. Why? You are a limited resource. I am a limited resource. There are only 24 hours in the day, and you are limited in what you can do with your time. You will be making a living, and even a good living. You can make an excellent living using your own two hands, your own efforts, working for someone. However, your time that you are exchanging for money will not create wealth. So some of you may be saying, boy, Opal, that sounds harsh. But it's a harsh reality. Think about it. Think about the persons that you know in this world that you would consider wealthy. Do any of these people solely work a 9 to 5? That's all they do. So if you can identify these people, just please send them my way, because I want to understand what it is that they do. Personally, I've never met an individual who I can say has true wealth just working 9 to 5. You know, you're able to do well, buy a home, buy a car. You may even be able to start up a little side hustle on 9 to 5. But when I'm talking about true wealth creation, it is impossible just doing one thing. First of all, wealthy persons are known to have at least 7 income streams. So if all you have is your 9 to 5 collecting a paycheck at the end of the month, that is going to be challenging to get to a point in life where you say, you know what, I don't have to work today, and it doesn't matter because your money is working for you. So how do you fix this? How do you create a system in your life that is generating wealth? So don't get me wrong, you need a source of income somewhere to start the wealth creation. Whether it's a 9 to 5, whether it's a small business, you're self-employed, whatever it is, you are going to need that source of income. So one of the things you want to do is that the money you earn, you need to buy assets with them. We want to create assets that make you money while you're sleeping. This is what we call passive income. So the type of income you make when you don't physically need to get involved all the time. When you can do this, then you're no longer limited by time and your two hands. Assets make you money. They bring in money for you. For example, my house that I'm building is an asset, as I will be doing short-term rentals with Airbnb. That way, even when I am sleeping, persons will be able to go on the Airbnb website and book their stay, and income is being generated. In the next few years, my goal is to build a real estate portfolio. Now, my YouTube channel is also an asset. In a few months, when I monetize, I claim it into being. One of the things with YouTube content is that once you get in the partner program, those videos makes money from ad revenue. So even when I'm sleeping, persons watching those videos, money is being generated from each video. And so each video is an asset. That's how you have to start thinking. How do I put things in place that doesn't physically need my effort? Once it has been created, whether it's a system for business running, if you can't be there to help with the operations, it still flows and it still makes sense and it still brings in money. Of course, assets come in other forms as well. An asset could be in the form of an investment account. You could have unit trust accounts, mutual funds, stocks, for those of you who are inclined to do so. An asset could also be a motor vehicle that you're using to generate income as well. Let's say you have a bus on the road that is carrying passengers and you're generating income from that. Of course, you don't physically have to be there for it to happen, so that is also asset generating income. So a tip for you: the best assets to buy are the ones that you don't physically have to be operating yourself. So for example, if you own a motor vehicle and you are driving it personally as a taxi, even though it's an asset that's generating income, you are going to be limited in terms of time. So you may start off driving a taxi for yourself and you generate income for that. What you really want to do is take that income, let's say buy another motor vehicle, and instead of you driving, get someone else to drive it while you use your time and create other income streams. So you ever hear the term letting your money work for you? This is what they mean. You want to use the money that you earn from one asset. Let's say you buy a house, you rent it out, you make income from that house. You want to take the money that you make from that property and use it to buy another asset, another house, for example. Now you have two properties that are bringing in income. And then you want to take the income from those two properties, buy a third property, and now you have three properties bringing in income. And it goes on and on until you're like, well, you know what? I have 10 properties. I'm good. I have a system that is generating enough wealth for me, right? Now that is having your money work for you. So instead of you physically going somewhere and working 9 to 5, or you have a little business that you're slaving over day and day in, day out, to generate the income that you need to buy 10, 12 properties. We're saying take the money that your 9 to 5 give you, buy an asset like a property, rent that property, take the income from the rental, buy another property, take the money from those two, buy another one and another one. And before you know it, you're a little real estate mogul. Before you know it, you are building your wealth. So this is obviously not a get rich quick scheme. This is something that's going to take deliberate action, and it's going to require years of investment and your time. And that asset, of course, doesn't have to be a property. It could be something else. But the important thing here is that you understand that it takes time. Get rich quick schemes never work. And the only get rich quick things I know are either pyramid schemes, like, remember back in the day how Cash Plus and O-Link devastated Jamaica. So those pyramid schemes, some people may be lucky to get out of them quickly and they make a little money, but that's not how wealth is created. Wealth is not created overnight, right? Unless you win the lottery. And if you don't know how to manage that wealth, what we have seen a lot right across the world is that persons who don't know how to manage wealth, who win the lottery, tend to end up with $0 and 0 cents after years of just wasting it away. If you inherit money overnight without a good sense of how to manage that money, a lot of people just blow through it because they did not put in the work and they did not understand how you continue wealth creation. So the real way to create wealth creation, you have to be dedicated and you have to work at this thing year in, year out. And you see it with the wealthy. You see it with the wealthy right across the world. It takes real elbow grease, dedication, and sacrifice. So the last thing I want to touch on is, why do you want to buy assets instead of just leaving your money in the bank? Think about it. $1,000 a year ago is not $1,000 today. And it doesn't matter which currency, whether it's US dollars, whether it's pound, Canadian, or Jamaican, it doesn't matter. What you could buy with $1,000 a few years ago, you cannot buy with $1,000 today. And so when we talk about your money devaluing, let's say in layman terms, $1,000 could have gotten you a bag of cement 5 years ago, or even say $200 could have gotten you a bread 5 years ago. Now you go in the supermarket, it's twice that amount that you need to buy a bread. So it's $400 on average for a bread. But 5 years ago, you could have bought that same bread for $200. It means that your money is now worth half its value than it did 5 years ago. So that's what we mean when we say that the dollar is devaluing. So likewise, if you leave your money in the bank, that's all you do for the rest of your life. You leave, let's say you save up $10 million. And all you do is leave it in the bank. First of all, the interest rate is like 1%. And that's 1% after the government takes taxes from that 1% to give you interest. The $10 million that you leave there, let's say for retirement or for whatever it is, in 20, 30 years time, that $10 million will probably only worth 4. Because what you could do with it years before has significantly been reduced due to inflation and other economic constraints. So when you think about wealth creation, you're also thinking about what will I be able to afford in the future, and just solely leaving the money in the bank without having other means of generating wealth is not the best thing to do, because ultimately, as you age and as cost of living goes up and as things become more expensive, that money will not be able to do what it can today. So you have to have a supplemental income. You have to have a system in place that will allow you to generate additional income from assets that you have bought. So guys, I hope you got from this video that wealth creation is deliberate, it's long-term. It requires you to set up systems, not just be dependent on your own 2 hands. You need to have things in place that makes you money while you're sleeping. And so I believe that this is one of the things that as a people, we need to appreciate as we are building our lives, building our families. You want to create a sense of security for them, and one of those things is through wealth creation. So until next time, take care of yourself and each other.